Okay, so get my pillows straightened here because this is going to be a long one. Get my box pulled over so I can reach it. So I've decided I'm going to do a WIP parade for you guys. Long sigh because there's actually a story here. This video is going to also help me keep a record, create a record of what I have packed in boxes. And packed in boxes, you say? Jan, what is this? Well, big news, big announcement. Mike has decided to retire. It's time. We've decided it is time to push the button on something we've been thinking of for a number of years, and that is to go full-time traveling out on the road. Yes, we only have our little camper. We do not have our big RV anymore. So we will be going out in that little A-line camper that I've shown in various videos, the little pop-up. It will be tight. It will be strange. There may be times that it's difficult. Hopefully we will be enjoying ourselves traveling around enough that all of that will be just something we have to deal with, not any huge obstacle. It does mean everything gets packed up and put into storage, though. And so we are in the process of packing up the house and putting it on the market because we cannot afford this house on a retirement salary. So, yes, I think Mike and I have gypsy blood. That's all there is to it. It seems like we can't stay in place any longer than 2 years anymore. So, busy days, but I wanted to take the time and number one, show you all my WIPs because I know you enjoy that. And also, like I said, make a record. Now, I am not going to do the whole video at one sitting. I will be doing some of the video every day, doing a little bit and then I'll just put it all together. I haven't the faintest idea how long this is going to be. I have my water. I have these in no particular order. The other thing that this will help me with is, even though I don't get much time to stitch on other designs other than my own, I do want to have maybe one or two with me, just in case I do have some free time to stitch on something else. I don't know how I decide amongst all of these things that I want to do which to take with me, especially if I'm only picking like 2 out of 100. But maybe this will help to convince me or narrow it down or make me feel like this one is definitely calling. Of course, if you've been around a while, and I know many of you have, you also know that what calls me this week isn't the same as calls me next week, but I won't have any choice. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And like I said, in no particular order. All right. First, we have the Scarlet's House, A Sampler Grows. So this is one that I saw at the attic, and I did see it stitched on 56 count there, and it was gorgeous and little and just absolutely stunning. So I got the pattern. I got some 56 count ballet slipper from Fox and Rabbit, and that is all I have done. I did buy a bunch of Aurifil floss. I think this was my first foray. Well, no, I did the Fox. I was working on the Fox before that on 56 count. But I didn't want to splurge on the 103 silks for this. So I found, just looking around and asking people, that the Aurifil, I'm going to need my glasses to read this. And Aurifil has a ton of colors in this, let's see, any 50 size floss. So it's a very thin thread. It's not floss, it's sewing thread. And they have a ton of colors, so I decided to kind of convert this chart to these threads. So that is WIP number 1. I am not keeping count. I might make it to 5 before I forget to continue to count. Probably going to keep my glasses on. Otherwise, I'll be taking them off and putting them on, I'm sure, the whole time. So if somebody out there happens to count and keep track, let me know what number you come up with. Oh, this one might be the one that goes with me. And I have a feeling I'm going to be saying that, like with everything I pick up. Patchwork. So pretty. Oh, my needle's falling out. Am I holding that right? No, I'm not. This is the right way. Patchwork. This is the one by Jan Houtman, a Dutch designer who has since passed away, but his patterns are sold on Etsy under the Etsy shop is Naldendraad. It's Naldendraad. So this, I don't have a picture of it because I do have it as a PDF, but this gives you a sense. Let's see, which way am I holding it? This way, this way. This does give you a sense of it. So the original is stitched in just a bunch of different colors, kind of randomly placed. I am stitching mine on a rainbow. If you follow X Stitch MD, Shiloh, you know that, or no, I'm sorry, Georgia Stitcher, you know that she did this in beach colors, because beach colors and anything beach themed is her jam. So I decided I wanted to do it as a rainbow. I am doing it in Mrs. Sadis Silk Floss. And this does make me happy every time I look at it. So that is definitely a major candidate to travel with me. I do not have one of the probably strikes against this one is that I do not have all of the silks for the entire rainbow picked out. Like I'm working on the oranges and yellows, so all I have packed, or I have in my bag, are the oranges and yellows. And so when I'm ready to move on to the, I have a cat here in my mouth. When I'm ready to move on to the greens and blues, then I'll pull those out. If I decide to take this, of course, I'd have to take all of that floss with me. So that's kind of a negative, because space, of course, is going to be at a premium. All right. We'll see. This is like, oh, what's in this bag? Oh, okay, that is over here. So one thing I did yesterday, I had a bunch of, along my shelf over here, I had a bunch of my projects still on their scroll rods and Q-snaps, and I undid all of those yesterday and rolled up all of the projects to be stored in the bag when I came across them. And I just came across them, and I think that is, see this little bit of floss hanging here? That is from Patchwork. That fell off the fabric of Patchwork. So I'm going to tuck that back in there. All right, so next up is Jeanette Douglas's series. So we have Winter by the Sea, Spring by the Sea, Autumn by the Sea, and Summer by the Sea. And I got all the floss packs for all of this. And so what I got started on this is not the called for fabric. This is a something else. This is a 32 count though. Almost on the tip of my tongue what it is, but I can't remember. So I got a good chunk of, let me go back to Winter, of Winter by the Sea done. You can see there. So the main thing that I still had left to do on this, my little sailboat there, got down along the bottom here done. So I have the border over here done. So I have to do this yet to finish winter. And a lot of these are specialty stitches. A lot of it's cross stitch, but a lot of it's also specialty stitches, and they go so fast. They really do. If you sit down and do it, it does not take long. It's just the sitting down and doing it. This is not a candidate to go with me, at least not at first. I mean, I can't take everything, right? So much of doing this is going to be figuring out what fits and what doesn't, what works and what doesn't in this little camper. What do we have room for? What are the absolute necessities? And what are the things that, well, we got on the road and we've been on the road for 6 months and we haven't even touched that. So, yeah. Okay, let's do that. This one isn't a candidate. It's huge, but God, I love it. So this is called Four Seasons. It is a Korean design. I have not touched this in a long time. Mike absolutely loves this one. So you can see it's kind of like the Four Seasons across a bit of a cityscape. This is by Nice Day, oniceday.co.kr, www. Here, let me hold this up so you can see it. It is an older pattern, so I do not know how available it is or not. I am stitching it on a big piece, and I think I actually had her dye this for me specially, of an XG design fabric. It may be called Blue Sky. I don't really remember. So that's what I have done on this at this point. Just basically that little tree over there on the far, what is that left? This is such an amazing piece though. Super cool, huh? All right, so that one, like I said, is not a candidate. And that is not something that came as a kit. I just got the pattern, and I don't even have the floss in here. So I bet you I have it in one of my fancy storage things, CD case or something like that. And I hope it's labeled because I often don't know which of those fancy cases that I got goes with which project. So anyways, that one will go into storage. And there is a chance that I might come across another one of these that I want to sell, although I did go through them a couple of times when I decided what I was going to put on Instagram to sell. So this one was it was a mystery to me. Midnight in the Garden by Sampler Cove, right? Yeah, Sampler Cove. Now this one is actually charted in Vicky's silks. Yeah. And I had gotten it. It's a really, really bad picture on the front, but you get the idea. I had gotten it and I had started it. This is probably one of my mania starts. These are the silks. And when we moved here and I got everything sorted, I looked and looked and looked and I could not find this. I couldn't find it anywhere. And then when I was going through everything again to decide which one of these I wanted to part with, it was there. I don't know. Anyways, I just have the little bit in the top corner done. This is going to be a stunning piece someday. You're going to hear that a lot. Someday. I will be putting all of my projects, they are in their project bags. They're all going to get put into plastic bins when we put them in storage. I really need to make a working copy of this one. I don't have a working copy, and that's getting kind of beat up. Everything's going to go into plastic bins and put in storage just so I can be sure that nothing happens to it. We don't know how long we're going to be out on the road. Probably at least a couple of years. I will still be designing. Don't know how that's going to go. And then we'll kind of travel around, and there's a large part of us that wants to retire to some place like Ecuador or Colombia. We have friends in Colombia, people that were a guy that we worked with who was in the Air Force. And so there is a chance that we will, well, while we're out and about the next 2 years, we are going to take some time as money allows to travel to these different countries to see what they are like. And then you have to decide where we want to land come, when we're ready to settle down. All right, the next one is Serenity. This is Northern Expressions Needlework. They are the same people that did the Shades of Gold. Speaking of which, didn't you love all these little tangents? Speaking of which, so Shades of Gold and Hoity Toity are currently at Jill Rensel Framing Studio in Ogden, Utah. I do not expect them. I took them down there November of last year. They are taking a good 9 months to a year now to finish. I have one that's being framed, just a framing, and then Hoity Toity is going to have some painting on it. And so those take longer. 9 months to a year puts me sometime after we've left here. So I guess they can mail it. Our home base is going to be my father-in-law's down in Surprise, Arizona. So yeah, I was hoping that I'd be able to go down and pick it up, but I don't think we're still going to be in the area. Anyways, Serenity, Sampler, or Northern Expressions Needlework. I just barely started. Where is this? I just have like, I don't even know where this is. I don't know. It's one of these like swirls. It's in the center somewhere. Oh my God. This is all I have done on this. This is a 28 count. It may be, I think it's one of the Weeks Dye Works that before they switched to Zweigart, because it's a very open weaved fabric. There are a lot of specialty stitches in this, and there are also beads. I have all the beads. I'm working this with Mrs. Sadis. I think this might be Peacock. So anyways, the 28 count is for the beads so that the beads will fit, and so that the specialty stitches will work properly. That is also not a candidate to take. That is something that I'm going to need time and concentration to work those specialty stitches. Not all of these, if they're PDFs, excuse me, I don't have pictures. I will try and remember to put pictures in as I'm editing, but I'm not going to make any promises because it takes time, and time is of the essence. Time is not on my side these days. I have needles stuck in all of these, so I'm making sure the needles are out far enough on the margin that if they do stain, they won't stain anything that will be seen after framing. This is Beachcomber, one of the Carolyn Manning shooting star designs. I have several of those that I started. And of course, this is the beach themed one. This might be a possibility. That's an easy stitch, with just little blocks of color. I should be putting aside, putting somewhere else. And I have all the floss in here for that. Of course, I just pulled, I think I have the floss for Shooting Star in here as well, the first one. I just pulled some strands from my DMC Master collection. So I don't even know if I have enough of each of the colors in here. But let me reach down here and get Patchwork. So yeah, this is definitely going to be like a narrowing down of possibilities. And then when we get right down to it, I'll be trying to pick two. Next we have Angelic Vision by Teresa Kogut. And this is one of those that I just pulled out the DMC. I had started using these are coin pocket pages for coin collectors. And so I have just the colors, the DMC chunks in these, and I just have Scotch tape on them. I don't know whether you can see the numbers. I just have Scotch tape, and I wrote the number of the floss. So that is how it's stored in here. It certainly keeps it nice and flat. I don't know why that magnet's in there. I never use magnets like that. This is where I am with this one. And this is another XG design. This is probably like hazelnut or dark hazelnut, and it's either a 40 or a 36 count. So this is up in here. Someday I'm going to get one of these angels done. There's actually, this is almost full coverage. And there's actually quite a bit of confetti in these. Not that confetti scares me, but just FYI. Okay, this is another one, and I actually have a printout of this. I think this was a gift from Dee out in Hawaii. Maybe for my birthday the one year. So this is the Shooting Star one sea glass. Like I said, I have several. Oh, Broken Star, not Shooting Star. The Shooting Star collection, or the Broken Star collection, the first one was Shooting Star, I think, with all the different rainbow colors, and then Beachcomber, and this is Sea Glass. I'm doing these over one on, I think this is either 28 or 25 count Lugana. So just that goes this way, just a little bit done on that. Gorgeous colors. So me. And I actually do not have all the colors for this one in here. So that one is not a candidate. Oh, I had such good intentions with this one. Let's see where the patterns are. Fragments in Time by Summerhouse, right? Summerhouse Stitchworks. I have, and this is Mrs. Sada's Silks. I converted. I have to be honest, I did not like the colors of the original. So this was the 2020 set, and I do have them all in here. And I got, let me again get the needle further away so it's not. I got a couple done. My plan was to do them, fabric is really wrinkled, all on one piece of fabric. So I have the first couple done. Yeah, pretty. And again, did I say I think this is also an XG design? Yeah, I got started on the third one. I think this is also an XG design fabric. She was kind of my go-to for a while there. I've started to collect these. I love pretty much every single year of these. I think there was only one year that I really wasn't thrilled with, of these Fragments in Time. This year she's doing the Berlin Woolwork ones, and I love those too, and I think I have the first couple of those ones. I know, we all are better collectors, or faster collectors than we are stitchers. I am happy to say that not all of these are calling to me. Doesn't mean I want to get rid of them, but oh, this is the Shooting Star. Oh no, all the fabric for this, or all the floss for this, is in here. So this is the rainbow one. And again, this is a PDF, but I think you've seen enough of these that you know what the general look is like. So that is the bright rainbow one. it would be fun to get one of those done. This is one of my newer starts. This is the pattern from, where's the pattern? So many pockets in this little keeper. This is the pattern from Stitch West last year from Teresa Kogut, Seaworthy Sampler. I did start this at Stitch West. So this was a kit, but I did sub out the fabric for an Under the Sea fabric 40 count that I actually got from Leslie there at the retreat. And there is my little bit done on this. This fabric's gorgeous. I'm going to move that needle somewhere else. This is also a good reason to be going through this, to make sure that everything is kind of storage ready. I do roll my fabric up. Now this one is in the portfolio that I got from Rika King, House of Stitch and Stash. So the fabric is just kind of laying in here, kind of folded into it. But I do roll my fabric. It's getting somewhat more squished than I would like, no matter what it's kept in. But sometimes if it's not too squished tight, it keeps it from getting too many wrinkles. He's back. Hello. I've told them our news. I think most of them are just like,
what are they thinking?
These two are just so strange.
They're not wrong.
They're not wrong. All right. This one actually has been calling to me the entire time I've been thinking about what I'm going to take with me. I'm going to roll this fabric back up and unroll it on camera. Now I know I said I don't want to take one that's too big that I have to put on scroll rods. Don't you have packing to do? I don't need the tape.
I'm just putting it back.
Yeah, but I don't need to have it in here if you need it more. This is, look at that. This is gorgeous is what it is. I don't remember the name. Berlinische Stickmuster. It is one of the designs on the Silk app by the the people that created the Silk app. Historische Stickmuster in Germany. This is one of the like traditional, I don't think it is an antique reproduction, but it's like it's a traditional German type of sampler. And I don't know why I continue to show you that big piece of fabric. I believe this is Straw by Weeks Dye Works. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of fabric. I am working this with a variety of, I have some of Vicky's silks. I have some of the Thread Picker silks. I have a bunch of these that I never used. But of course, again, I have some Mrs. Sadis in here. But again, I don't have all of the colors picked for this entire piece. It has been calling to me. It would be so cool to work on a little motif. And that's what all this is, just a bunch of little motifs, some bigger, some smaller. Here and there to get as much done as I could, but I won't have all of my floss with me. So that's probably not practical. Of course, if I could pick out the colors, like maybe in the top section, I think this might go in my to be considered pile. I would need scroll rods for this and one of my stands. See, that's just it. You start to get into all that stuff and all that stuff equals more storage is needed. Yeah. Food. or cross stitch supplies. You notice I didn't say clothes. I am not a clothes horse, if you hadn't noticed. Food I like, though. All right. Next. Okay, so that is this one. So, and I have the first few in here, and the rest of them I've packed away, actually. Oh, I think I have all the winter ones in here. So, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. The Fox Cottage Garden Samplings, A Year in the Woods. And I do have all of these, and I think my plan was to do like all the winter ones on one piece of fabric and have those framed. So this was one of the ones on the scroll rods. This is on 56 count ballet zipper. The sun's starting to come right in my window. So I don't know how well you can see that without the sun blasting it out. I might have to stop soon. But anyways, so this is 56 count. I might get up and close that blind. Ballet slipper, fox and rabbit. And I think he's just adorable. I did have this on a scroll rod because with the 56 count, I felt like I needed to keep that fabric tight and as even as possible to really be able to see the squares well enough. And of course, I need good light to stitch on 56 count. Of course, I will have, good light with me. It's not like I'm going to stitch without good lighting in the trailer. But, yeah, I don't think I need to be stitching on 56 count while we're on the road that much. It's a cloudy, rainy day, so the sun actually just went back behind a cloud. All right. Oh, this is so pretty. And this is another 56 count. And I need to take it off of here. And I barely got anything started. Mrs. Campbell, 1805. And this is another, Jean talked me into 56 count. So I have the 56 count fabric and I have the 103 silks. And again, no, this one's not calling to me, but I am going to leave it out so I can remember to take it off the hoop and put the hoop somewhere else so I could use that. Oh, 50, there's a row of 56 counts here. Again, all because of Jean Lee at the attic. The Rose and the Giant Pear. This is actually the first one I started working on 56 count with. And I love it. It's so me. And again, good thing I am going through these so I can move the needle off of where I just plunked it down. So this is, whether this is the called for fabric. Yeah, it is Creme Brulee by Tabby Cat. So that's what I have done of that. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. I can't wait to get to that house. That doesn't mean it's going with me. But this would be fun to work on if I could. A little bit here, a little bit there. Wouldn't it be awesome to get that done? And say, yeah, I did 56 count in the trailer. No biggie. What do you think? I think it's going to go in my to be considered pile. And of course, it's fairly compact. I do have all of the flosses, all of the silks in a little bag here, and all of everything in a project bag. This will go in my, and of course it's a little tiny pattern, right? Yep, that's going in my to be considered pile. Might remember me working on this one here and there. This is Mill Hill, obviously. One of the ones that I got from Silver Needle, totally in love with all of their samples done on fabric. Sucked me in and I got several. This is a 32, yeah, I think this is a 32 count fabric. Using 2 strands in it so the beads fit well. So I have a good chunk of that done. Maybe that should go with me, a nice little one. Be fun to get that little piece done. And maybe that's what I need to think of, little ones that I can see more progress on. I'll put it in the to be considered pile. I'm not committed to anything after all. All right. What are you doing in there? What are you? Oh, this is Death by Cross Stitch. Got a lot done on that, huh? Using Mrs. Sadis Rouge on Death by Cross Stitch. Someday. That one isn't calling to me. Excuse me. The other one in this bag, Solarat de Inde. The Mahatma Gandhi themed one. This is by Isabelle Vautier. I got this off of the Italian website Casa Sanina, but I think I might have gotten the last copy. I don't think this is available anyplace. I think this is one of my mania starts a few years ago. I am stitching this with a gold silk filament that somebody gifted to me, and I am stitching it on. This is a 36 count. I smelled it to see if it's XG design, but I think the smell is long gone. But it may very well be. I don't remember what the fabric is, but I just have a little bit started up in the top left. So I'm just right up in here. So that one isn't calling to me either. But isn't that silk gorgeous? Just beautiful. I think what I have a lot of my projects in these type of bags, but I do have a lot of empty fabric project bags. I think I need to move everything out of these into the fabric so it's not sitting in plastic in storage. I have a thing about not having my projects in plastic, if you didn't know. All right, Birds of a Feather, Sally Spencer sampler. I know this is a unicorn for many people. This looks like a 32 count as well. Oh, there comes the sun again. Here comes the sun. Do, 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 do. I'm going to close the blind. Hold on. Blind. Sally Spencer sampler. That one is not calling to me either. It is pretty. And I have, I've modified, I've converted the colors to basically whatever I had that was close, but most of it isn't the called for. I don't believe. I don't think there's a needle in this one either. I think this is another Weeks Dye Works. I bet you this is Weeks Gray. That's one of my favorite fabric colors too. This one may be a candidate to take with me. This was one of the kits from, oh wait, that floss goes in there. This is one of the kits from the Silver Needle Circle of Friends. Sampler's Not Forgotten, lovey-dovey, that pretty little pillow. And I have quite a chunk done on that. And again, move the needle. This looks like another week's fabric. I think this might be Tin Roof. And again, it was a kit, so it all came together. This might be a nice one to get done. For a while, I was taking this one with me to like appointments and stuff, any place that I had to sit. That's what I should do. I should keep it in the car as something whenever we're just sitting waiting somewhere to pull out and work on. That is a good idea. Thank you for that idea. All right, there's that one taken care of. But again, it's in one of these plastic project bags. I have to move it into a, even if it does go with me, I have to move it into a nicer bag. That's not really a WIP, is it? I had gotten, I don't know whether there's a good picture of it anyplace. This punch needle kit. This is one of my favorite punch needle designers, Kate Guillory, Briar Cottage Studio. This Santa, isn't he gorgeous? So I got she had the weaver's cloth already stamped. So I got that, and of course the pattern. This is her Etsy shop if you want to look it up. Oh, I guess it's here, Briar Cottage Studio. Isn't he gorgeous? I haven't started that. That is not a WIP. It's just shoved in this box, along with all the punch needles and tools to go with. I do not have the color picture. This is With the Needle 2 by Leela Studios. This was my StitchCon start with Carolyn Zook. I just have the working copy in here, the full color, the pattern with the colored, oh, I think it's in my little cabinet. I'm not going to get it out. But that is that. And I got a pretty good start on this. The fabric is Old North Church by Treehouse Fiber Arts. Big piece of fabric. But I got, that's so pretty. I got that first square done. Isn't that awesome? So that first square up there. So fun. This is a 40 count. And it's still huge. This is not a candidate. I don't know how I decide what is a candidate and what's not, but this one just isn't calling me. Okay, I don't think I have a needle in this one either. I must have absconded with the needles for other projects. I had a bunch of the Pat's Favorite needles, the 28 count, and I have them in a special needle holder, and I just keep rotating through them. And when I run out, I kind of steal the needles from other projects. Sad that she's not making them anymore. I do have all of the floss in here for this, but pretty project bag from Maria. I think this is one. Oh, look at that cat hair on there. Whew. My goodness gracious. All right. I kind of peer in to see what is in here. This is a kit of some sort. Oh, yeah. This was another start with Carolyn. We had so many plans. Remember that one? 12 Days of Christmas. Clothy threads, right? That's how much I got done. I am doing these as separate ornaments, but yeah. That is 25 count Lugana that I'm working these on. what is in here. Oh. So. How gorgeous is that? Long Dog Sampler Pandemic. I had started this in, I don't remember what color or colors or theme. And then I saw somebody post in black with rainbow. And it just, in case you don't know yet, I love color. And it just wowed me. So I started over. This is, I believe, Weeks. This is one of their Zweigert family fabrics. This might be Seafoam. And I have, what I have here in my little case, so I'm using Mrs. Sada's floss for this. And I have the flosses all in here. And actually, I could put more in here for patchwork. But yeah, this is a huge piece of fabric. And that is just so pretty. And I was just making it up as I went along. Should I show you again? Gorgeous, huh? This is a 40 count, I think. Part of me wants to take just one of these like really big projects and just make that my go-to whenever I have time. Next up, and again, another start with Carolyn, Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. I got the conversion from Vicki Clayton Silks, and those are being stored rather haphazardly in my eyeglass case. But it works. It keeps them corralled. And the fabric is, I believe it's old linen or old stationery by Seraphim fabric. How gorgeous is that? Maybe this is the one. You should be counting how many times I say that over the course of the video. I think this is actually, if you remember in my WIPs for sale video, there was one of the kits I got that I stole the fabric for something else. I think it was this fabric. One of the kits from Country Sampler, their Sampler Girls Club. This was the fabric I stole because I was out of the Seraphim. One of my all-time favorite. It's what Florographica stitched on. Old Stationery by Seraphim. The pattern came out of there. I know it can fit back in. Okay. All right, and this is the last for this box. So this is going to be the last for this section of the video. I do not have the picture. Well, I'll try and remember to put the picture in there here again. When I come to edit this, I don't know how much I'm going to go through it to see what's there, to see what I need to do. This is my project for Black Sampler September, or is it Black Sampler November? I can't remember. Fox and Rabbit's pomegranate, black pomegranate sampler. So there's another bird over here and then a kind of stylish alphabet down here. It's gorgeous. So that is my start on that. This is Frozen, I believe, or Icy is the name of the fabric from Forbidden Fiber Arts. And I am using Classic Colorworks Black Coffee and Plymouth Rock. And this is a 40 count, 36 or 40 count fabric. All right. That is all for that box. Hold, please. Whoops, I just bounced you around. Okay, I am back with day 2. To you, it's just a mere blink of an eye, but for me, it's day 2, the next afternoon of my WIP parade, and packing them up and deciding what I may take with me. I did go ahead and close the blind so that hopefully the sun won't come in and blind us. I first want to show you, though, I had shown you the Baroque sampler yesterday, the long one with just a few motifs up in the top left corner done that I said was by Historische. It's actually, I looked it up, Werkstatt für Historische Stickmuster is the name of the company. Dorothy Kanzi is the name of the designer. They are the ones that have the Silk app, and I do have some of my patterns available on the Silk app. But this is, I don't know how well you can see it. This is the Baroque sampler is what it's called. So it is quite elaborate, I think is the word I'm looking for. And I just have these few little motifs, 3 little motifs done up in the top left. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Someday it will get much more attention. Today is not that day. All right, so now I have another box full of WIPs to show you. I'm gonna manhandle the box a little closer, and we will get started. So this is another new start with Carolyn. Carolyn Zook, Zook Stitch. That seemed to happen a lot the past couple years, which is okay. This one is Hearthside Christmas by Erica Michaels. Christmas, pretty Christmas pattern. We decided, Carolyn had already started this like the year prior. I saw it at the trunk show that Linda Stoltz, who is Erica Michaels Designs, had at Acorns and Threads when I visited there, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. And we decided that we would work on it together. And this is my little bit of a start. You know, the fabric fold is kind of making it a little bit hard to see, but that's my start. The fabric is 36 count winter woolens by Seraphim. It does have kind of a greenish tone, so it's kind of a really pretty tone for this theme. Can't remember if I'm using the called for or at least close to the called for threads, but this one will get put away. Yes, and even though I rolled it, it does have wrinkles in it. I try my best, but that's the way it happens. This is a fun one. This is Luminous Fiber Arts. I started this one when she was doing it as a mystery stitch along last December. So it has the 3, Jingle Jangle Jolly, I think. And one of them's a Santa, and I forget what the other one is. And as you can see, I got one of them done. My plan is to do these as 3 separate pieces. I believe this is some of her fabric as well, Misty's Luminous Fiber Arts fabric. So my idea is to do them as 3 separate and make ornaments out of them. So, got one done. It has to count for something. Yeah, and I think, again, I don't know if I'm using It looks like she has it charted in DMC, and I'm using some DMC and some over dyed. Ah. Ah. This is kind of a finished one, minus, I think, 2 stitches. So I have the series, the Glitter Village series. And again, I wanted to do them as separate pieces. I got Opal, I think this is Fog from Under the Sea Fabric, Opalescent, 40 count. And it does look mostly done. This is the one and only cottage from this series that I have completed, almost. There are actually 2 blue stitches missing right there. And I keep meaning to fill them in and get this done, and that just hasn't happened. And Nina has just come into the room to explore. Who is Mommy talking to? She's more likely just wants to get into things. Okay, next up we have February Quaker by, oh, there's the husband as well. Uh-oh, should I stop? Okay, so next we have February Quaker from Wendy from the Heart Needle Arts. I didn't do January. I'm not quite sure why I jumped to February. It's probably February when I actually started this, when I decided to do one. So yeah. So this is, floss I'm going to drop here. This is what I've gotten done on this one. I am using Mrs. Sadis, a selection of Mrs. Sadis's silks that are close to, let's see, close to the called for. This is 40 count Mayflower fabric from Fox and Rabbit. So that one is not calling to me either. It's not February. It's not anywhere close to February. The sun's actually shining and it's warm out. That's how I know it's not February. This one I debated whether to sell as one of my WIPs in progress, and I'm still debating. This is called Dreamers. It is a Russian kit. And of course I'm not using, well, it does have the, yeah, it is a kit, so it does have the floss. I'm sure it came with Ada. I got rid of the Ada, probably gave it away, and pulled out this. This is the same kind of rustic pinkish fabric that I used on the Thankful Armchair chair arm pin keep from Heartstring Samplery. That is one of the kits that I'm selling, or that I have sold. And you can see I just have a start on the little sheep in the center. And I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty little kit. I don't know that I'll ever get to it, though. That's the thing with the WIPs. You know, you fall in love with something, and then you move on, and you look back, and you think, it's that whole thing about, is it giving me joy, right? I'm going to set that one aside with the possibility that I might put that up on Instagram. This next one I am not getting rid of. Marie Serone, 1830. This is the design that is 5 different charts that, it's Lindsay Lane Designs is the designer of this. It's a reproduction. So I believe that this was, the original was a full, all of these were together on one piece of fabric. And the designer, Lindsay Lane's designed, separated them out into 5 different patterns. But she does have in the patterns how they go together, so that you can choose whether you want to do them separately or do them all as one. I, of course, decided to do them all as one. This is, I believe, vintage buttercream fabric from Lakeside Linen. Let's see, is that this? No, that's something else. And I am using a conversion of Vicky Clayton silks. And this, it's a stunning, stunning design. Again, there's kind of a sharp crease there. You can see that, so this is the one I'm working on, and it's that top band there. And I have that top band pretty much done. I just have to do the few little motifs over here, and the top band is done. And I am working this, even though it's a big piece of fabric, I was working this in hand. And I do have to say this one is calling to me to possibly take along, because it is, working with Vicky's silks is wonderful. The fabric is gorgeous, and it's just, it's like the perfect marriage of fabric and floss. So this may go with me. I will at least put it in the pile to be considered. You can see her, but Nina is sitting here next to me, and every time I reach down to grab something out of the box, she kind of gives me a disgruntled grunt. Okay. This is a couple of drawn thread patterns. First one, Sunnyside Sampler. Oh, I had such plans. Where's the actual sampler? Oh, there it is. So Sunnyside Sampler is a drawn thread. And this is the stitch along that is being hosted by folks from Stitch West, the Retreat Stitch West. Last year, I think it's the Utah, maybe it's the Wasatch Valley Stitchers. I forget what their name is, but the group of stitchers in the Greater Salt Lake City region, they had done from the previous Stitch West, they had gotten together and decided on a pattern, and they stitched it throughout the year. So when they came back together at last year's Stitch West, they had them, some of them had them finished, quite a few had them finished, and they all kind of stood up and showed, all of their different ones finished, which was, it was really cool. So this past year's, for this coming year, they decided to stitch the Sunnyside Sampler. And if you remember, I had a heck of a time finding this pattern. I finally was able to get it from Silver Needle. And I chose, I believe, again, this is Under the Seas fabric, 40 count, maybe 46 count. I don't remember the name. It's the same one that I'm doing the Teresa Kogut one on. And like I said, so each one of these, it's split up into 12 sections. And basically each one of these houses gets its own section. And it's not a ton of stitching. And I had very high hopes. Yeah, they didn't last long. I'm not going to be actually going to Stitch West this year either. That is the same weekend as Jacob Palooza, the second weekend of Jacob Palooza in Ontario, in London, Ontario, that I had signed up for. And a chance to see our friends Janine and Dave in London. So I'm going to that. I'm not going to Stitch West. But someday I'll get back to that. In here is also another start, and this one, I don't remember whether Maria was doing it too. I think we both got these. I don't know whether she actually started it. I get, not again, drawn thread, and this is Christmas cards. So there's these 4 separate little houses, and I love how they have them framed in like a window frame type of deal. Love that. I don't know how that, I won't do it. Obviously, I cut a small piece of fabric. But anyway, so I started with this one up here, the red one, and that's as far as I got. This is a 40 count again. And again, I'm using floss that's close. I probably had some of it, but not all of it. Over dyed possibly, I don't remember. Actually, it might be I don't know. I don't, something close. I had high hopes for this one too. It's a pretty little stitch. Those are some specialty stitches, some satin stitches, and looks like smeared acrosses or something close to a smeared across. Just really pretty little berries there. But that will not go with me either. Because gosh darn it, I can't take everything. I told my friend Anne today that we were doing this. Anne is a friend from way back from that I worked with, and we were stitching buddies back in the day. She's actually doing a model for me, which I am absolutely thrilled about. But I told my friend Anne about our change of life coming up, and she just laughed. I don't even know where the pattern is, let alone the name of it or who's the designer. But this was a Christmas one that I started a couple years ago. I want to say this might be in the Silk app too, actually. Hold on. Yes, it is. Winter Wonderland, Historische Stickmuster. So just whites and reds. Isn't that pretty? I am doing it on a kind of dark bluish green. And that is what I have so far. Super pretty. I remember stitching on this when we went to visit Mike's dad. Don't think there's a needle in this one. When we went to visit Mike's dad for Christmas, maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. No, it was the Christmas after we lost his mother, so that was 21. And we went up to, we rented a cabin at a KOA up in Williams, Arizona. So that is just south of the Grand Canyon. And went up to the Grand Canyon, spent a lot of time just hanging out in the cabin, and I remember stitching on this there. Nina's not happy with me, but what's new? Pretty. So many pretty gifts from so many people. This is an old one, and I don't know. This is probably one of my oldest WIPs, if not oldest WIP. I was doing for a while, and there is no colored picture. There's no picture of the finished design. For a while, I was doing quite a bit of counted canvas work, and excuse me, Nina, I need this. And I was getting quite a few, of course, designs from a designer named Sue Lentz. Is this one of Sue Lentz's? Yes, Sue Lentz. This is called the Stained Glass Star. And she did a lot of, she used all kinds of different specialty threads and all kinds of different specialty stitches. And so as you can see, there's an outline, and these are pretty much all metallic threads. There's an outline of a darker color, and then all of those different openings are filled in with different specialty stitches in different colors. And then in between kind of the outline, there's white satin stitch. And I had picked this up again a few years ago in the hopes of getting it done, getting more work done on it, because I mean, what a stunning piece this will be. And I think I got a little bit more done, but just not enough hours in the day. We know how that goes, right? You might remember a year or so ago, I was determined to get my silk gauze piece by the Heart's Content Maureen Appleton done. Again, best laid plans. So that is this English carpet. She has a couple like this. I fell in love with it, of course, because it's a little tiny thing and is just stunning. And I actually got, relatively speaking, quite a bit done in that time frame. I got this flower finished, and I got this vase over here done, got a good start on this vase here. I think the middle motif had been finished, so I pretty much did everything else when I worked on this last. And this would actually be a nice compact one to take with me. Again, that light though. So basically, you work all the motifs and then you fill in all the background with the dark blue. And this is all silk on silk gauze. It's a gorgeous piece. Excuse me. Do I add it to the pile of possibilities or not? That is the question. Oops. Make sure the needle stays in there. Can't take it all. Anne is laughing at me again. No, Jan, you can't take it all. All right. Oh, this is another Jeanette Douglas. I can tell by the chinking of the beads. This is Jeanette Douglas's Aloha Hawaii. I first saw this at the store Fiddlesticks 2 in Honolulu when I lived there. And it is not a pattern that is readily available anywhere. This was a pattern that Jeanette did for a cruise to Hawaii that she was on, and the store itself doesn't actually carry the pattern. They just have a finished model there. So I reached out to Jeanette and said, could I please? And she said, why, yes, I do still have some. So I worked on this quite diligently for a little while and got a good chunk of the top done. This is, I think a 28 or a 32 count Murano or Lugano, one of those that I had in my stash. So again, I had the best of intentions to really get this done because this is not big, but everything takes time. And of course, while I was in Hawaii, I was really big on getting all these Hawaii things done. And that didn't happen because then we left. Speaking of Hawaii, let me grab that one. Aloha. I do not have a picture of this. This is a pattern that was in, this is an Emma Cogden pattern, I believe, that was in one of the British cross-stitch magazines, Aloha. So it has the word in the center and then all kinds of wonderful tropical flowers and birds around it. It actually has a toucan in the design. There are no toucans in Hawaii, so I was actually going to change that out when I got to that to something else. We shall see. This is on the same fabric that I did Harbor Haven on. This is a 28 count. I don't remember the name, but it's a crossed wing collection fabric. So I would work on this every time the stitching group got together out there in Hawaii. So this was my stitching group piece. I don't think there's a needle still in this. It seems to be getting gray out there again. Let's see. Oh. Tree of Life? No, Jacobean. I always say that wrong. Jacobean tree. This was a kit, Creative Needle Arts. Somebody finished it and passed it to me. I am working, it was kitted with Presencia. I am using the DMC conversion for it. Doing this on a 36 count raw linen. It's going to be huge regardless. So that's where I am with that one. I have, and you can see there's just tons and tons and tons of the grass down at the bottom. So that's pretty much what I'm on. I believe Teal, you're working on this one, right? How is yours coming along? I know you were further along than I was. That would not be hard. I know. This one will not go with me. I do have a note on it to pass it on to somebody else. I believe the person that I have the note for, she's not doing much stitching these days, so I don't feel too guilty. But Elin, if you want it, let me know. If you watch these at all. I don't know whether you watch Floss Tube at all anymore. Let's see. This is a pretty one. This is another kit, another Russian kit. Pretty lighthouse. This is called Guiding Star. And that's how much of the lighthouse I got done. Isn't this fabric gorgeous? It's actually a hemp fabric. I found this on Etsy. The dyer is named Jackson Fiber Arts. And I think she does linen too, but she also does some hemp, and the colors. She does some very interesting dye work. Jackson Fiber Arts. So this is another one I considered giving or selling on Instagram as part of my WIP sale, but I decided I liked the fabric too much. I think I just heard some thunder out there. All right. We all know and love these ones, right? Cottage Garden Sampling Series. The Songbird Garden Series. So this is, I think I only have this one and Wisdom. And maybe the winter one with the pines on it. So, this is probably a mania start at some point. I am using a 27 count, let's see, this is called 27 count Tile Blue Linda, but I am actually doing it over one, of course. So that is my progress on that, and I love it over one. I think that is just so cool looking. So I got the word done. I am not using the called for, just stuff from my stash that I thought would work. Per usual. Okay, I'll be back. Grab a couple more. Make Nina mad because I'm bumping against her. She is not happy. This cat, she will not eat what we put out. She'll eat it for a day or two, and then the next time we get some and put it out, doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And she gets mad at us. Next one is another kit, Dimensions. Welcome, friends. Again, I'm using the kit floss, but not the kit fabric. I substituted something else. I would dearly love to get this done someday, because the colors are just so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? And there's some blending in this, blending of colors. Just so gorgeous. I don't remember what this fabric is, though. It is I'd say it's a 32 count. It looks like I'm using 2 strands of, I would definitely have to get something like 32 count to use 2 strands of floss, because there are blended colors in this. Isn't that gorgeous? Love it. You know, I look at something like this and think, you know, what you should do, Jan, is take one of these that otherwise just don't get any attention and only take that and just get it done. But I say that about so many of them. This one. This is this the one I'm thinking it is? Yes. This is one of the first ones I picked up when I came back. So I found, I started on that deer pattern kit that I got off of Amazon. I've sold that. And realized as I was working on that again, I'm not an Ada stitcher. At this point in my life, I'm not an Ada stitcher. That could change at some point in the future, but at this point in my life, I'm not an Ada stitcher. And I was at probably Stitching Post in Maryland and saw the Schoolhouse series, the Summer Schoolhouse series by Brenda Gervais, and absolutely fell in love. And then I saw someone do it on one piece of fabric, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. I like big projects. I like big, complicated projects. That's just who I am. And you can see I used painter's tape to tape the edges because that's what I had at the time. So I have, this is the first one, of course. Not even close to being done with the first one. I am using the called for. This is Mushroom Lagana, 28 count. It is over 1. And I am using all the called for threads. So another one that says, see, if you would just take me with you and nothing else, you could just work on me whenever you had time, and Bob's your uncle. I do have an Uncle Bob. He's passed away. That's sad. But he is my uncle. He was my uncle. One of my father's brothers. There were 5 boys in that family. All right. This, whenever I said about the other one, that if the welcome one, if I would just take it along and not take anything else and get it done, but there's so many other ones that I want to do, this is the one I thought of. Four Seasons Belle Pool. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is, as you can see, I got it from a magazine, Needleworker magazine, autumn 1997. I've had it. I've had the pattern. Whenever we were at some point in my life with all my moves, I went through all my patterns and just tore out the designs that I really knew that I loved and I wanted to keep, and got rid of the magazines themselves. So this is one of those. This is by Nancy Rossi, Cooler Design Studio. So you can still get this pattern from Cooler Design Studio as a PDF. They might have printed as well, but they definitely have it as PDF. And this is what I have so far. And it is such a pretty pattern. I love this pattern. And this is, yeah, again, this is one, if I just took one, this would be high up there as a contender. So I would love to get this done. This is a 36 count. I believe it's Tyco. It's either 36 or 40. Teal, I think you sent me this. And yeah, this is back in the day. I know. And every time I reach down to get something out of the box, she kind of goes,
Oh, disturbing her. Did you want a snack or anything?
yeah. What time is it? Oh, I'll finish up here in a little bit. Yeah.
Piece of popcorn, then I'll bring it
Okay. Okay. This is back in the day when there's tons of back stitching. So I've decided as I finish a section, I'm going to back stitch. And I think what I was working on was the back stitching of this top. So you can see there's some back stitching up here. But so pretty. So yeah, if you're interested in this, Cooler Design Studios still has it. So pretty. What do you think? Take this and nothing else, along with all of my own designs. When I need a break, work on this. What do you think? I'd love to hear your opinions about all of these. If you can make notes as we're going along and remember by the time we get done. So I've been at this for about another probably 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Yesterday's video was 53 minutes. All right, I think I'm going to... All right, let's go back here. Just a couple more in this video. This is another one that deserves a lot more attention than what I've been able to give it. Luz Gonzalez. You all know that I love, 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 love Mexican samplers, Spanish samplers, unusual different samplers. Look how gorgeous Luz is. So pretty. This is one of the ones that had been sitting on scroll rods. Oh, that's not it. For a while. So she was always there looking at me, calling to me. So pretty. Waiting patiently for me. So that's what I have so far of Luz Gonzalez. Look at the Bargello. Is that not gorgeous? Just such a beautiful design. So many beautiful stitches. This, I believe, is a 40 count. This might be buttercream. I think I said the other one is vintage buttercream. This might be the vintage buttercream. Or no, this might be a... I don't remember. I do not remember. But Luz is going to get put away. I do not have a needle in this one. She's going to get put away until I can give her my full attention. Spanish Colonial Reproduction Sampler. What do you think that means? Spanish Colonial was all over South America, Latin America, right? I don't know. This is another one that deserves more attention than it's getting. Do I have the colored picture here? I do not have a colored picture. I have a working copy in here. This is the Smith sampler. You know it. You love it. You've probably done it and finished it. I have not. So Smith sampler by the Scarlet House. I saw this at is it Stitches from the Heart, the store in San Antonio that closed, and it was on this fabric. And I want to say it is Mocha by Weeks. It's one of the Weeks colors. It's not straw, I don't think. I think it's Mocha. I can't remember exactly. I am using a variety of other silks. Well, I got a lot of, no, I did get a lot of the called for, I think. And I think there was just one that I had to substitute, one of the Glorianas, I think, because they didn't have it in stock. This one was a problem child, and I don't remember exactly what the problem was. But this is not that. Did I stick something else in here? Yeah, Rocky. Okay, so this one, I know that I started it. I think I must have counted wrong in one of these down, one of the lines going down, and ended up with a Santa that didn't fit. But this is not that. This, I think, is another one of Misty's. It's that same fabric. I don't know. Fabric and pattern do not mix. The floss in here goes with the pattern, though, for what that's worth. That's for a worry for another day. Oh, this is so pretty. All right. Liz Turner Deal is a designer from, let's see if we have a year on these anywhere. 1996. And I have this pattern and I think 2 or 3 others of hers. I love this. It's specialty stitches. It's gardening related. It's beautiful colors. Just love it. So I got a nice start on it, and it's just scrumptious. Let me move the needle. And each of the little sections does not take long, even with the specialty stitches. It's just, again, not enough hours in the day. Look how wonderful that is. Love that. Oh. Someday I will get back to it. I waited long enough to start it. I probably got it in the mid-90s. And then they sat forever. But it's going to sit for longer. All right, one more. Oh my. No, I don't even have this one in here. One more. And then I'm going to stop here because Mike is making popcorn for our afternoon snack. It's snack time. So this is, I need to find the pattern for it. Hold on, this is another PDF. Nina's turning around, hoping she can find more space here. I know. This is called Feed Your Soul, and it is by the designer Stitches Through the Years. She does have an Etsy shop. She does gorgeous, gorgeous designs. I have several of them. So, Feed Your Soul. Let me scroll up a little bit. Flowers feed the soul. And I don't know what this fabric is. Other than to say it is not a Zweigert fabric. Look how pretty that is. It's a gorgeous design. This designer has a beautiful aesthetic. She has a wonderful color palettes. Just gorgeous designs all around. Stitches Through the Years. Highly recommend. All right. That is all for today. I should be able to finish this up with one more section of video tomorrow. Let's see, tomorrow. Yeah, I should be able to. All right, take care. I will see you in a minute. All right, my friends, I am back with segment number 3, hopefully the last one. Whoops, old one. Had to manhandle my box closer. Hopefully the last one. And I'm going to get these done so that I don't have to keep recording. I can start editing. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. So pretty. Regina Heibel by Brenda Gervais. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous. Now, I will say that it looks to me like my camera is kind of blowing out the colors a bit, so things aren't quite as bright, as washed out, I think, as what you're seeing. They're a little bit darker, a little bit more rich in color, but I think you get the general idea. So I think I started this maybe Christmas last year. I don't remember. It's a gorgeous piece. This is 40 count antique lace by Seraphim, another one of my favorite fabrics. And I am using the conversion that Vicki Clayton did into her silks stored in my eyeglass case. A little bit messy looking, but that's okay. Still usable. So Regina Heibel is number 1 for today. And as lovely as this is, I'm going to say no to the idea of this being one that I take with me. Maybe next year. Maybe not. You'll notice that my hair looks totally different from the last time you saw me, 24 hours ago. I did have a hair appointment today. Got my hair chopped off. Told my stylist that I would be leaving her. But if I pass through this area, I will be making sure it's timely enough to stop and get my hair cut by her. All right. I seem to have several things packed in here. No, I haven't started that. First Day of Christmas by Liz Matthews. This is over 1 on probably a 25 count. Not quite sure where the pattern is for this. Boy, all kinds of things shoved in here. Let's see. Hello? Okay. Make sure this is on. Yes. A little bit of an interruption with a phone call there. Okay, so I don't know what I have in here. I do have several other projects though. So, Hibernation Day by I'm just reading a note on the back. Hibernation Day by Heartstring Samplery. I have like other another verse on the back. I'm not sure why. Anyway, let me get my little pad out. I just have a little bit of start, so I just barely started this, the top border and some of the words. This is, oh, it must be a 32 count. One of the Witchelts, I think. I don't remember which one. Kind of a dark bluish gray. I am not using the called for, just as always, close to the called for. I believe that was a Christmas start or a Mania start at some point. I obviously had packed this up to I think these were all designs I wanted to start this past Christmas and it didn't happen. That's a pretty one from Hindsight, Winter Wonderland. It didn't get started. I have Wendy's Quaker Bells in here. That didn't get started. What do I have in this pouch? This is a Shannon Christine Northern Expressions needlework collaboration. Hope you can see that okay. And it is called Sparkler number 1 Baby Blue. And I'm pretty sure I got this off of the Northern Expressions needlework Etsy shop, the PDF. So this has specialty stitches, it has beads, it has metallics, and I believe, yeah, I don't think I did that one correctly, and I started to practice that stitch somewhere else the last time I worked on this and got interrupted by other things. But I have all the beads, and it has some of these really cool shaped beads. It's just a really, really cool pattern that I will get back to someday. Still haven't come across Liz Matthews' first day of Christmas pattern yet. I apparently wanted to start this one too. Abby Rose Comfort and Joy. That is stuck in here. I apparently wanted to do another one of the glitter villages because the rest of those patterns are stuck in here. And I also had great plans to continue doing more of these. This is a dimensions kit, and I have stitched this one here, the one that says Peace and Joy. I haven't finished it yet, fully finished it, but I think these are all so pretty. And none of those, more of those got done. So, apparently Christmas took a very, or my winter stitching or Christmas stitching, I don't know what it was, took a very wrong turn. And things didn't get done, and I haven't the faintest idea now where my first day of Christmas pattern is. I assume it's around here someplace. It's not stashed in here. If I ever want to work on that again, I better find it. I don't think that's one I had it as a PDF. I don't think she was offering those as PDFs. I don't know. I don't know. But I know that that one isn't going with me. Get the needle out of the middle of the stitching though. All right. Next up is Do Re Mi. So many of you are doing this now. The Do Re Mi by Silver Creek Samplers. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, etc., etc. So, if you remember, this is the one that I found a conversion that was more rainbow colored than the kind of brownish colors that it's originally charted in. I have shared that conversion on my website. I have a conversion page for any time I do a major conversion that people are interested in. I do post it on there. I was really, really hoping to get this done this year. Maybe I should take this one with me. They go fast. Each one of the little things goes fast. It's just sitting down and doing it. Oh, look, I have 2 needles in there. I don't need 2 needles in that. Let me take one of those out. But this is another one that I was just picking floss as I go along for each. When I start a new square, I would find the floss for it. I'm stitching this on, it still has the tags, it's from Creefles in Maryland, in the Baltimore area, for those who might remember Creefles. This is a 30 count Murano. Pewter is the color. This was an old fabric from my stash. So, yeah. I don't know whether I doubt if I'll take that. All right, look at this big one. This is a huge one. Let me pause here to see if I can find what this is. Let's see if I have it on Dropbox. Dropbox is where I store, between Dropbox and GoodNotes, that is where I store pretty much all of my PDF patterns. So this is one that I did from a photo I took in Santa Fe. And this is back when I was designing full coverage. This is called Santa Fe Decor. This was just in some kind of little shop that was just chock full of all kinds of odds and ends. And I did this. This is actually a high resolution, high color design. 349 by 349 is the finished stitch count. It uses 191 colors. So lots and lots and lots of, and that's actually the photo there. That's the photo that I took, and then this is the computer mock-up as produced by my software. So, I kind of laugh at myself because I have the photos. I could just print the photo out on canvas and be done with it. But what's the fun in that? Tons of confetti, as you can see from just this small, I think this is the upper right corner, from just this small little bit that I have done. This is a 28 count Lugana. Will I ever get back to it? I don't know. I have all the floss in a binder in the little coin pages. That's actually upside down. Here, like this. So I cut out the thread sorter that comes with my patterns, taped them on, put a piece of felt on each of the pockets that I could stick a needle into, that unthreaded needle, and that's how I was managing this huge project. So that will get tucked back away. Also, in a binder, just like that, is my floss for Farewell to Anger. And you can see I have a nice colorful binder. This one I'll get back to eventually. This is huge. This is one of the ones that had been sitting on scroll rods on my shelf that I had to take apart. It looks like a lot's done, and a lot is done, but there's an awful lot more to go. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors. I love full coverage. I really, really do. I don't know why some of us are so in love with full coverage and others aren't, but I have always been the type of person that likes big projects. I like puzzles that are huge. There's something that's all connected in that way. All right, there is another designer on Etsy named X Counting the Stars X, who does amazing designs. This is one. This is the next one I'm going to show you. What is it? The Star Mandala. I'm a sucker for a good mandala. I started in the center on this one. And And that's what I have done on that so far. Pretty. I do have the blinds closed, by the way. It still just blows out the color a bit for some reason. I don't know why, but such is life. And then another one of hers that I started, I bought several. Again, full coverage, just amazing. Mandala squares. And if you missed the name for some reason, or the designer, this is X Counting the Stars X, and want more information, there it is. Can't find it on Etsy, let me know. I'll try and help you find it. I know there's a lot going on here. And that's my start on that one. This is a 28 count Lugana. Just that little piece is so pretty, isn't it? The fabric for the other one is a 36 count. I don't know what company or anything. So that's those. I'm actually amazed I'm doing so well remembering where the different patterns, the PDFs, are living, because it's been so long since I've looked at them, looked for them. All right. Another one of mine. Poor Narnia. Let me find this one. This is actually one of my first traditional designs that I did after I was doing the full coverage ones. I decided to try my hand at more traditional type things, and this was one of the first ones. I think it was in 2020. And I never finished the model. That's the computer generated picture that you see on there. I had started stitching the model at one point, and it got wet. If you've been with me a while, you remember it was on a counter or on a windowsill in our big Class A RV, and some rain came in and it soaked the fabric, soaked the bag that it was in, soaked the fabric. This is Mrs. Sadis's oxide, and I actually made the design with this floss in mind. I just think it is a gorgeous, gorgeous colorway. It's navies and yellows, golds, so there's some green as the two colors meet. The idea for this came from a wardrobe that I saw in an antique store. The wood carvings kind of had these kind of motifs on them. So I played and found other things and put stuff together and came up with the pattern called Narnia. And this is available in my Etsy shop. Not all of my full coverage are available in my Etsy shop. Some of them are. The Santa Fe one is not. I don't think it is. Every once in a while somebody asks me to put one up that I haven't put up yet, and I'll add to it, or I'll add it into my Etsy shop. So some are there, some aren't. Look at all that gorgeous gold and blue. And I kind of cut this so that I have one half of it is more of the gold and one half of it is more of the blue. There's still a lot of blending and mixing that happens, but you know me, I'm okay with that. Oh, this is another gorgeous one. So many gorgeous ones. Madame La Fée, Le Village sous la neige. So the village, something about snowy village. I love things with boxes. I love Madame La Fê's, all the different designs she does with little motifs in boxes. Me and boxes, I don't know what it is. So I started, oops, my needles got my fabric all, I have the needle here and it's like through multiple layers. Oh, there's the eye, hold on. I don't think I meant to do that. I started in the middle of this one, which had me starting with the church. So lots of pretty shading going on there. This isn't a kit, this was just a pattern and I kitted it up. So gorgeous, gorgeous. This is one of Fiber on the Winds. I think it's Cobalt. It's a 36 count. All right, get the needle someplace where it won't wreak havoc. So far, I'm not feeling the call for any of these to be added to my growing I want to take it with me pile. Mostly because so far the ones I've shown you are my really huge ones. This one isn't one of those. This one isn't one of those either. It's a cute, sweet one. At one point, I had the best of intentions of doing all of the Prairie Schooler months. And I think I might own most of them. I don't know whether I have all of them. But my desire is to do it over one, do them all over one. So they're just these little tiny things. So this is how far I've gotten with June. This is a 28 count French Lilac, maybe, by Witchelt. Isn't that cute? I just love this pattern. Of course, it's very springy. Of course, I love it. So yeah, as much as I would love to work on that and get that done, that's not calling to me either. And I think I have a mixture of the called for in here. Huh. Well, how about that? It's amazing what you find when you look in a project bag. It's no wonder my colors are missing from my master DMC because they're stuck in a bag somewhere. Yeah, we're gonna have to at least leave that out so we can put the floss away, or some of the floss away. Ink circles, seasonal sun sign. I love this. This is just so clever. Should I say it? Should I take this one with me? This is another over one. I always think that I have more done on it than I do. I open it up and think, oh, I don't even have the first section done. Over one on 28, or possibly 25, one of those. Yeah. I love this one though. At this point, it's just filling in and doing the borders. So I have all that green swirl done, so it'd just be a matter, I could do the black border and then just fill in the green here and there. I am not doing the outside border in purple. Purple and me, I don't like purple. I like it. It's okay. It's not one of my favorite. So I'm changing the outside border to black. Kind of like a wrought iron fence type of look. I think I will put this in my possible to take with me pile. It's been a while. I haven't added anything yet. That goes over there. All right. Isn't that pretty? That's one of my finishes. Made into a bag by Tammy Blaylock. All right, this is another magazine pattern that I had saved. This is by the Brown House Studio, Small House. And I totally changed the colors. None of it is called for. The fabric is, I actually have the bag, 40 count vintage navy bean by Lakeside. And I'm sure that the called for was probably all DMC, and I'm not. So that's what I've done on this. I really wanted to get this done to hang in our house here because it would be so pretty in our house here with the blue walls. So much for that idea. And again, another one where I thought, I'm almost done with that. I'm not almost done with that. I just have that house and one of the trees done. I have a lot more to go on that. I don't know what happens to my brain sometimes. I don't look at things for a while and I think that they get further along than they are by just sitting in a project bag somewhere. Lots of floss stuck in there though. It's the other thing that's kind of mind-boggling, how much floss I have on all these different projects. Let's not talk about that. This one I started not too long ago on suggestion of somebody who said, you know, Jan, your road, your path in life is all over the place. You should do this. And I said, yeah, long and winding road. And it's about to get longer and windier. Maybe this is the one I should be taking to work on. I am using the Vicki Clayton conversion for this, and no, I do not have very much of it done. This is, I think, Dirt Road, possibly by Seraphim, possibly by Tabby Cat, possibly by somebody else that I don't remember. But anyway, it's a very perfect sentiment for Mike and I and what our future holds. And I need to get that needle out of the middle of the stitching. I'm going to stick it in the possible to go with us pile. Why not? Why not? I'll talk about one that I really should have gotten done. You know how much I love By the Bay Needleworks patterns. This is their stitch along from her stitch along from a couple years ago. Seasons. I have summer fully done and fall fully done. So much stitching. I would love to take this and work on it. So much stitching still to do, even though it's a halfway done. But yeah, not this time. It will go back into my bag with all of the floss. Tons of floss in here. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I don't know whether I even have pulled out what is needed for the other seasons though, because again, I was just working on each season as it came out and then putting those. Some of the colors are across different seasons, but not all of them, because of course, especially as you get into winter, you're not using all the greens and browns and all that, or greens and blues and golds and stuff. This was my take it with me in the car for when I'm sitting and have more time than I realized project. I worked on this quite a bit when we were at the beach in Hawaii. Well, quite a bit is a misnomer because once again, there's not nearly as much done on this as I thought there was. This is a little dimensions kit called Ocean. And again, I subbed out the fabric that came with it for a different one. So this is the word ocean down here, and then you fill in the background with half stitches. This is a 32 count linen. I'm gonna stick this in the take with me pile. Maybe I'll have this and that other small one to keep in the car for those just in case moments. Why not? Why not? Because you don't have all the room in the world, Jan. I'll stick it all in one bag. Nobody will ever know that it's multiple projects. We're getting down there. Here it is. My oldest WIP. Taj Mahal Mandala by Chatelaine. I got this for my birthday. Let's see. This is Chatelaine number 39. It came out in 2005. I got it around about that time for my birthday. If you've been around for a while, you know I have a deep love in my heart for all things India. Obviously, though, it's not a deep enough love to get this sucker done. God, it's so gorgeous. I got the full kit back when European Cross Stitch was carrying the full kits, when she could actually access everything. I know she's having a hard time keeping everything in stock for the full kits. This is a 32 count, I believe. It's just a pale yellow fabric, and that is what I have so far in my chatelaine. This was another one that I had planned on working on periodically through the year. I had put it on the Q snaps. I have a big set of Q snaps for it, so I could work on it. And once again, it got set aside. It is stunning. I did work on it enough to get that part done over here. That little arch, there's a whole nother, the Taj front facade is inside each of the arches. Whether you can see that. Can you see that? You repeat that 4 times around the square. Yes, I have been to the Taj Mahal a couple times, different times of day, so you can catch it in its different moods. So this will get put away. Again, I'd love to just have a time when I can just pull something like this out and dedicate my time to it. Of course, I say that realizing that I am also somebody that I like variety in my life. I like to switch things up. Of course, there's enough variety in this pattern alone. Now this one I know I have more done. I won't say I'm almost finished. Oh, this is actually the bag that got soaked with oxide floss that got wet in the RV. Things get moved around. So this is another Russian kit. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous design. This designer put out 3 patterns that were of the same flavor, slightly different colors, but the same idea. And I have this one. It's called Vitreous 1, 2, and 3. This is number 2. I can't remember whether the other one I have is 1 or 3. I wasn't able to find the missing one, and I don't know that you can get these anymore. All right, so maybe I'm about 50% done. I have most of that big vase done, but I don't have all of the pussy willows done. This is another, I think this is another Tycho. Again, I subbed out the Ada that came in the kit. I think this is another one that I might have started on a smaller count and realized that there's some blends and I had to go to a bigger count to be able to use 2 strands. So this is a 32 count. Isn't that pretty? I love this one. I know, I say that about everyone. Part of the reason I love it is because there is a vase of African, or a pot, I guess. Maybe that's more of a vase. I think those are supposed to be African violets. And I have a row of African violets up here. They are one of my favorite indoor plants, indoor flowers. I had a huge collection of African violets that bloomed and flourished for many years until we moved to Florida. And maybe somebody else knows how to move, to be able to move house plants like that, in that kind of a move. I don't. And so once again, of course, especially in this situation, I won't be able to take my house plants. I'm going to have to find new homes. And it does make me sad because I wanted to build up my African violet collection again. But I will be finding people in the area here who might be willing to adopt my plants and take good care of them for me. These are the decisions one has to make when making this kind of decision. Can't get my my zipper open here. Okay. This must be another digital PDF one because there's no pattern inside and there's actually no floss either. So, except one little thing that fell out. But that's okay. This is all DMC. This is the Sheep Story by Jardin Privé. The, 4-part series. I saw somebody just finished theirs not too long ago on Instagram. I have the first one just about done. I adore this pattern. Isn't that wonderful? This is a 32 count, I'm pretty sure. I'm only doing one strand of floss on it. A lot of people don't mind 1 strand on 32. Other people find it too skimpy. I kind of like the more rustic look. I love that. It's not going with me though. What I should do is just take all of these needles out instead of having them sitting in storage for who knows how long. I don't know what fabric this is, but it sure is pretty. Oh my. What's in this little bag? I have the faintest idea. Oh. Funky Flowers by the Bay Needle Arts. Donna Bayless had done, and this was from a while ago, had done a set of 12 or 24 different flowers, all kinds of different shapes and colors. This is another one that I started with Carolyn Zook, C. Zook Stitch, and I am doing mine on 56 count Reindeer by XG Design. It is scrumptious, and I am using the 103 threads. The silks, look at the colors. Do they not just pop on this fabric? Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. can see I kind of did little swatches up in the corner to get a feel for what colors I might want to work. I am winging this one as I go, choosing colors as I go, choosing which of the flowers I want to do next. Talk about behemoth patterns that like to slide on the floor. Mrs. Sada's Copper, another gorgeous, gorgeous color to be used on, I don't know what you're doing in there. I don't even know what you are. To be used on the pattern Quaker Seasons of Friendship by R&R Reproductions. Actually, Crown and Thistle is their pattern producing name. Talk about big designs. Now this one is totally blamed on Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. She was at Dying to Stitch in Virginia Beach and was doing a shop tour, and she showed this model and I had to have it. So I called the shop. Got the fabric. I think this is, I have this little label. So I've had this little label sitting here on the table because I knew eventually I'd come across the project that it belongs with, and it belongs with this one. This is Weathered Shingle for Quaker Seasons of Friendship, R&R Reproductions. And again, Mrs. Sadis's Copper. This is a 40 count, but it's still huge. The fabric is 28 by 19. Design size 22 by 12.5. So this is probably about half of winter done. Because it is Quaker Seasons of Friendship. It is the different quadrants showing the different seasons. I assume that this is still available from Dying to Stitch in Virginia Beach if you are interested. It's an amazing pattern. But no, it is not going with me. I'm going to take that needle out too. And I have a ton of gorgeous floss to do it in. All these patterns with all these little motifs. So fun. So fun to see it grow. I have so many gorgeous projects. So many. I wish I could work on them all. BG 1874, Samplers Not Forgotten. Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I'm using a variety of, looks like Mrs. Sada silks so far. Gloriana, I don't think this was the called for, but actually it might be. Some of it's probably the called for, some of it's my own substitutes. I don't know what the fabric is. It's either a 36 or a 40 count. Just a little tiny start. I'm pretty sure this was a birthday start at some point. I do love Samplers Not Forgotten patterns. She seems to quite often do the more different patterns. Am I making any sense? You know, the ones that aren't quite the same as all the other samplers out there. She's my style. Speaking of which, Remember this one, English Garden? She has another one, at least one, if not two more. I don't think I own them yet. I will get them. English Garden. So pretty. Just tiny, tiny, tiny. Let me see if I can figure out where this is before I show you. Just right up here in the top left corner. Tiny, tiny, tiny little start. This one I am probably using all the called for. It's kind of buried in here. I would say that the fabric is probably an R&R reproduction as well. 40 count. So pretty. When I use the called for, it's probably when, or it's usually when the designer's just done such an amazing job of creating the colors, the palette, that I want to do it justice. This one is one of the kits from, I think, the Sampler Club from I don't know whether it's from the Country Samplers or Circle of Friends. I think it's the Country Samplers because they did a farmhouse series. This is the Scarlet House. Let me show you the picture. American farmhouse. And I've got quite a bit of the house done. There's a lot of grass, though. The grass goes the whole way across the bottom. This is 36 count bark linen from Weeks Dye Works. Nope. It says the threads are from Weeks Dye Works. Maybe the linen is too, I don't remember. Well, bark is probably one of their colors. So, that one isn't calling to me. That will get rolled up and put away. Oh, this is another gorgeous, gorgeous one. Green on Green. Rosewood Manor, Karen Kluba. You can see it's even a signed copy. I actually got this off of a stash unload. So somebody must not have been too impressed that it was a signed copy. And instead of doing it all monochromatic, I pulled out, once again, several, these are actually Silks for You silks that I had. So kind of a turquoisey, a cream, and a gold. And that's what I'm using for it. And this fabric, it is a gorgeous fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics called Burnt Umber or Umber. And when I saw Leslie at the first Stitch Con I went to, the dyer, Leslie LaFleur, the dyer for Under the Sea, I asked her about this fabric. Because I had many of you very interested in it, because it is just, it's probably being quite washed out quite a bit, but it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous, rich brown with turquoises and golds. It's a gorgeous fabric. I got this at Keepsakes. Unfortunately, there was something about the dyes that she used for this that had changed enough that she couldn't get it to recreate. So that is a non-repeatable, unfortunately. Oh, this is a biggie. Oh, that's what this one is. Margaret Howden. Let me find the picture. Margaret Howden sampler. Rose Heck has finished this one. We started it at about the same time, but she is much better at persevering with things than I am. I don't know where the big front picture is. Oh, it's on the box. There isn't a little picture like on the front of the pattern. This is a crappy picture. It will give you an idea, but only just an idea of what the pattern looks like. I'm sure I have the box in there somewhere, but I don't know where. I'm using all the called for, like I said, it was a kid, so I'm using all the called for fabric and floss. And this is my very tiny start to this amazing sampler. It's a gorgeous piece. But it will have to wait. I think I am going to take this needle minder off, though, with the needles on it. Although these are the needles that came in the kit. I'm going to put them in the little envelope they came in. Okay. That'll work. I am going to bundle all this up after I get off, so I'm not taking all the time to do that here on the video. All right. Now, I would say last but not least, but I do still have some things laying here. Where is that? Oh, I know where it is. All right. First, though, D-Fry tag from Wendy from the Heart Needle Arts. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous sampler. I am stitching it on, I believe this is Straw by Weeks Dye Works. I think it might be 36 count. And I'm actually using some of Vicky's silks. It's not a conversion, it's my conversion. And I started in the center of this one, so I just got a little bit done on that. And this will get put away. I'm going to take the needle out of that, though. I know a lot of people don't like the base that Weeks used before they switched to Zweigart. I loved their fabric, but I like a softer fabric. So, all right, hold please. All right, this never actually made it into a project bag because I had every intention of continuing to pick this up and work on it. Again, it was one that was on my shelf here on scroll rods. This is the class piece from the class that I took with Jeanette Douglas in April of last year. Yeah, 2022, at the Silver Needle. Tapestry of Stitches. Delightful class. Gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. It's just so rich and gorgeous. And I had a very nice start on it. Got a good chunk of the top done. Just so pretty. Jeanette does such an amazing job, not only of designing and pulling out different specialty stitches, but also the palette that she uses. The palettes are always spot on. I want to be Jeanette Douglas when I grow up. Ugh. Take it with me or not. I think I'm going to put it in the pile to consider. I've narrowed it down quite a bit, what I want to consider. Now I will have to narrow it down some more. I have something in my eye. All right. Now, I am going to take a pause here. I do have several more to show you that aren't in project bags and are all PDF patterns. So I want to kind of get a better feel for where everything is. And then I'll be right back. Okay, so just a few more to go. A couple of these are mine. And I'm going to start with possibly one of my favorites that I really do hope to stitch someday. But again, it's one of my full coverage, and it did start with a photo. And this is the photo. We being me and Mike, and Mike's parents, took a hot air balloon ride in the Santa Fe area in 2013. And this is the shot of the inside of the balloon that I took as they were blowing it up. The balloon was laying on the ground. It hadn't expanded up enough to be able to rise. So it was laying on the ground, and I was looking up into it, up the inside of it. So that is the photo. And then I played with it in some photo editing apps to kind of make it kind of watercolory. And this is the computer generated mock-up. I think this is gorgeous. I just, of course, it's a rainbow, right? Stitch count 399 by 399, uses 224 colors. It's small. It's just a little thing. This is the top right corner. This is my start. I would love to stitch this someday. It makes my heart go pitter-patter. So again, that's back when I was doing the full coverage designs based on my photos. The other one that I want to share with you is Find Your Joy. So that is, and that's not a photo, of course, that's a design I worked up in actually Photoshop. And I started stitching it using Mrs. Seda silks. I believe it is charted in Mrs. Seda silks. And that's my start. This is, I believe, an XJU design. I don't remember the name of it, but an XJU design fabric. 36 count. So those are the two that are mine. Now, this one you have seen not too long ago. I worked on this a little bit. Balmy Spring Day. This is a Heaven and Earth design. I have a bunch of fat floss hanging on here. I started in the upper right of this one as well, so lots of dark pine trees over in that corner, starting to get over to the sky. This is just such a gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. Or artwork, I should say, made into a cross-stitch pattern. I love it. And someday I will get back to it. Next we have Pretty Little Hawaii. You may remember I did Pretty Little India. I started Pretty Little Hawaii when I was in Hawaii. But all I got done were some whales and a little bit of water. Oh, poor Hawaii. Let's see. Several other Russian designs that I got the patterns off of Etsy. Whoops, get back here. This one is called Om. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. And I just have a little bit in the upper left started, a little bit of the blue shading. This is a 28 count Jobelin fog by Picture This Plus, I believe. Yeah, someday. Another Russian design. This one I believe is called Pink Peonies. Just a tiny little bit down at the bottom. Worked on this. I think this is probably another 32 count with 2 strands because there's probably some blended colors in this. And last but not least, and this one is actually a contender to go with me as well. This is, so you'll remember my fractal design that I did. The, I'm looking up there because that's where it is hanging on the wall. The little bookmark that Cross Stitch Collectibles does of their free downloads every month, and I haven't looked for ages to see if they're still doing it. But every month, Cross Stitch Collectibles on their website would have a free, what they called a bookmark design, and it was just a portion of one of their fractals or one of their mandalas that you could download. And I think the one I did was fractal, I'm not going to remember the number, I don't remember, but all the rainbow colors. For a while, I was looking every month to see what their new fractal was, what their new free download was, and I downloaded quite a few of them. And then I came across one that I had to get the entire one. It's called Mandala 8. And it is just an amazing, colorful explosion of gorgeousness. Oh, it's just so me. And I have the start on one of the petals, or one of the leaves, or whatever you would call that. I mean, it's just, oh, it's scrumptious. Can you see that? It is scrumptious. And it's not too big. Full coverage, but not too big. This is probably a 28 count Lugana. I may take this with me. I don't know where the threads are. I don't even know whether I still have the threads pulled. I may take this with me. And that, my friends, is that. Oh, no, it isn't. I forgot this one. Shoot, and I didn't find the picture of it. Hold, please. This is another Cooler Design Studio one, designed by Sandy Horton. I am sure you could still get it as a PDF download. Another one with a Hawaii theme. Which I thought was really cool. They have several of these that are kind of these longer floral type pieces. I do not have the faintest idea whose fabric this is. It is a rainbow dyed fabric. And I started this down right below where the word paradise is. So that's one of the palm fronds down there. Someday I will do an ode to Hawaii and have a Hawaii wall. And that, my friends, is that. If there's any other WIPs hiding around here, I'll find them when I pack. But I'm pretty sure that's most of them. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. If you just want to write and, write a comment and laugh at me, that's fine too. You would not be the first one, and you will not be the last one. I laugh at myself, so why shouldn't you laugh at me? All right, guys, I'm going to sign off here. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you have a lovely remainder of whatever is left of whatever day you may be on. I don't know when I'm going to get this uploaded. But I hope you have a great day, a great week, a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.